So I just got back from working over in America, working for Princess Cruises over there, doing a dance contract with them. So I was looking for my next job. So I was going to keep doing the dancing stuff, and I found a job opportunity over in mainland China, and that was doing backup dancing. So I was pretty keen to do that. Applied for that, and yeah, from the beginning there were some differences, some difficulties, but I worked through those and just thought I'd give it a go. But the main one of the main things of this story is it starts with really my mum. She comes to me probably like a week before I'm about to head off because I got the contract. Yeah, it's all good. I'm ready to go over and go work over there. And she goes, I had a dream last night, and it was that you were in China and you were having your legs broken. Someone was breaking your legs. And she was quite distressed while telling me this. And I'm like, what do I do with that? What do I do with that information? What am I meant to do? Just not go do the job based on your dream? Like, what am I? Like, I just went, bugger it. I would go do the job. Your dream, having a bad dream, maybe you're worried. I don't know. I'm not going to base off, my life choices off that. Oh, before I actually went over there, I went out clubbing one night, just went out dancing, and I busted a mad knee slide on the dance floor, and I actually did something to my knee that I didn't realize at the time. But anyway, I went over to China, flew into Shanghai. We stayed in Hangzhou. Yeah, I think we initially stayed in Hangzhou, and that's where I met the other two people. There was one singer, and then there were two dancers, myself and another guy from Canada. But nothing, we got along well, nothing particularly interesting. The next kind of thing that stands out is the first proper day of rehearsals. We were rehearsing for 12 hours. It was ridiculous. It was too long, and we were exhausted, super hungry afterwards. And our manager was like, "Oh, I'll treat you guys." And he seemed all excited about, I don't know, his new deal, us being his troupe, and he's probably going to make a bunch of money. So he took us to this place, it was fancy. I remember when we rocked up, it was back in I'm not sure what the Meiji era, is that Chinese Meiji era? Old traditional Chinese era, all the buildings, all the trees and everything. Look, it was gorgeous. And we were there at nighttime too. And he takes us into this fancy traditional restaurant. We're like, oh, cool. And then all the food is on display. It's behind this display cabinet with Glad wrap and stuff over it. But it is unrecognizable food. The only thing that I remember recognizing is literal brains, fetus, pig feet, chicken feet. There were whole fish there. But with everything else, and I'm not a big fish guy, unfortunately, I was just looking at this stuff, and all of us were just like, what is this? There was such a culture shock. They were, the manager, and he had a friend there with him. They were all excited, and the other two guys, Cyril and Tyrone, they're just like, oh, we're just going to get fried rice. And I'm like, I need some more sustenance than just fried rice. So I got the fried rice, or what we thought was fried rice, just looked like rice with some seasoning on it. And I picked the thing that I thought looked most familiar to beef. I'm like, I'll take that as well. And because we were just exhausted as well, we were so exhausted and dehydrated, didn't think to ask what it was, or it was just so overwhelming for us. So I just went that and that, went upstairs, sat down at our table, and one of the first things that comes out is chicken feet. And us three guys are just we're so hungry and we're just a bit delusional at this point. We're like, let's give it a go. It wasn't any good. We didn't enjoy it too much. But once the food came out, I remember the manager and his mate fighting over who's going to get the fish head and all the fish eye. I was like, man, such different culture things. But our food finally comes out and we start huffing it down because all we had at that point was a beer. And then I realized once I had some food and some consciousness coming back to me, I was like, what am I actually eating? So I asked my manager, I'm like, what is this? What is the meat that I have on this? And dead set, without hesitating, just straight up goes, woof! And I'm like, you must. And then the guy that is with him just cracks up laughing. And I'm just like, yeah. And I don't know if he was joking. I was at that point, I was like, yep, probably dog. I don't know. Just the fact that he didn't hesitate, he just hit me with it straight up. So I finished my meal, accepting that I'd possibly eaten dog. Anyway, after then, we went to the actual club that we were to work in. It was cool, nice, big, and pretty fancy looking nightclub. We did more rehearsing, and then, again, there was some problems as well with the manager and the contracts. Because here's the thing: before leaving to do like a job, usually the way it is, you sign a contract. You agree to a contract with the employer, you sign it, both sign, yep, all good to go. This guy didn't want to do that. And I was like, I'm not sure if that's the way they do things in China or if he's just a bit more like casual, relaxed. I don't know. But once we got there, these problems started to persist. And I'll get into that more a bit later. But we're like, whatever for now. But we eventually got to our accommodation where we were going to be staying for the whole contract there. And like, this was one of the big, I was like, this is not okay. It was one bedroom. The three of us were sharing one bedroom. And there was just like a single bed and then like a double mattress or a queen mattress on the floor. And it was winter. It was like below 0 degrees winter at the time. It was cold. And that's all, and a couch. And we're like, what is this? He's like, well, this is where you're staying. We're like, no. Like, there was a kitchen and an upstairs room and there were other people living there, like other performers. Not that we ever saw them. And we're just like, this is, and again, all of this happened so fast. So we didn't have time to like kind of process and react. It was such a big culture shock. And like, there was so much crap going on. But even the kitchen, like we went into the kitchen and it was gross. Like, we're like, what is this? And there's this tiny little bathroom. Like, I understand, Asian bathrooms, sure. But we're just like, whatever. And we tried to have like good spirits about it. You know what I mean? It was just all a lot at a different time. We weren't trying to be pretentious, but I let the guys know, like, this is not normal. Like, this is, because it was both of their first like overseas performance contracts as well. So we just put on like a good mood. We spent like one day cleaning the freaking kitchen for like hours. It was gross, like scum oil gross, like layers of grease gross kind of thing. Clean that, and then we went to the supermarket to buy some sheets because there was no linen for the bed either. It was just like, oh, here's bed. So we went and bought linen and pillows and stuff. Went and bought all this because there was nothing provided. It's just like, here's an empty place. It was stupid, but we were just kind of like, I don't know, high on life, I guess. But once we kind of somewhat came to terms with that, we got into actually doing the job. We got given some pretty swanky over the top costumes, started doing the performance, and it was good. We enjoyed what we did. We enjoyed the hours. We enjoyed where we worked. Way too much smoke in those Chinese nightclubs. Everybody's smoking, can barely breathe. You get used to it. And, they treat you, because you're the performing act and you're foreigners, you get treated all the time, and you get too much alcohol. Everybody's buying you drinks all the time. One of my favorite things coming home, because we'd finish work at like 2 a.m. Coming home, there was this random Chinese guy, street food vendor, and he was there till like 4 a.m. every day, basically. And he was right outside of our place, basically. So cruising past there, I love all kinds of random food. And my favorite thing, he'd just have this, he'd be like, what do you want? I just point to this stuff. And it was beef this time. And I just get this steamed rice, marinated beef and broccoli. Oh, it was a lifesaver every time because it was freezing. It was so cold. But yeah, we just got used to the kind of lifestyle. We're trying to make things happen. Still waiting for him to sort out our contracts, our manager to sort out our contracts properly. Oh, another funny thing that happened. That's right. One night I decided to leave a bit early because I'd had enough to drink. I was like, I can't do this. I'm going to... it's a bit too much for me. So I started walking home by myself. The other two guys stayed back. And I very, very rarely get lost, but it was probably a combination of the drinking, it being night, and I'm being by myself, and it's only, a few days into this thing. But I got lost. Like, I knew the main street of how to, like, get back to where we were, but finding the specific turnoff street, I couldn't find it. So being freezing cold, because I wasn't appropriately dressed, never am for the winter, I found this homeless lady on the side of the road, and I'd already walked past her, and I went back to her and I just hit her with the "不好意思." I just said, "Excuse me, And I just gestured, can I sleep, please? And she was so lovely. She just like lifted up her blanket because she had like a futon thing on the floor and this big fat blanket. It looked comfortable. She wasn't like dirty, gross or anything. And even if she was, like what other option did I have really? And she just lifted up the blanket, gave me a little like gesture, come here. And I was down, I went in there, I was out. And I woke up to the guys waking me up. And I'm glad that I was, one, on the right street, and two, that they recognized me. They wake me up like, what are you doing? I'm like, I was cold. I'm just having a little rest. So I say goodbye to this nice lady. And yeah, they were a bit dumbfounded, like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I don't know, I'm Australian. She was nice. Yeah, things were still going back. I guess I'll get into the details. Like, before I left, I'd been offered $1,500 per month for the job. And I said, that's a bit too low for me. Can you make it a bit higher, please? So he's like, I'll give you $1,800 US per month if you're the choreographer. I said, yeah, cool. I'll do that. And then, like, already before I left, I was communicating with him and he had forgotten. I'm like, why does my contract say 1,500 still? He's like, well, that's the thing. I said, no, you've already forgotten. I'm meant to be 1,800 in the choreographer. And he's like, oh yeah, of course. I'm like, mate, you can't just, this is why I want to sign the contract before I leave. He's like, oh no, it's all good. I'll have it all sorted. And I guess being young and just being a bit more free, just being like, whatever. I was like, look, just get it done and we'll go from there. But that's still, once we got there, it hadn't been the case. Because once it came time to sign the contracts, still on my contract, even once I got there, 1,500. I said, what are you doing? How many times I got to tell you, like, sort yourself out? He's like, oh, well, okay, you can have 1,800 and be the choreographer. I said, good. And then he goes and turns to Tyrone, who was doing choreography as well. He said, okay, you get 1,500. I was like, whoa. You can't just take away his agreement, like his pay. Tyrone looks at me. I'm like, no, I'm not trying to steal your money, mate. I'm like, you can't do that. He's like, well, I'm only paying one choreographer. I said, well, you should have sorted it anyway. This is the type of stuff that was going on. And then we had the house. And I mean, in the house, once we were like settled in there, we realized we had no heating, no hot water. Like, I think some of the electricity didn't work. We didn't have any Wi-Fi, so we couldn't translate stuff. We couldn't contact family. We couldn't figure out where to go, find the supermarkets and stuff like that using Google Maps and whatnot. And there are a few other things as well. Like the kitchen was still freaking broken and gross. It was, the more we stayed there, I think the clothes washing machine wasn't working either. The more we stayed there, the more we realized, like, this is not acceptable. We can't do stuff. We couldn't wash our clothes. And with the hot water was a massive one. Couldn't frigging shower. I remember Cyril one night, he goes, I need to have a shower. This is gross. I'm like, mate, go ahead and try. He didn't do it a second time. I'll tell you that much. 4 degrees or whatever it was, even colder possibly in a cold shower. No, it was bad. There were a lot of stuff. And I was just like, this is not on. This is unacceptable. And he was dragging his feet. And he's like, oh, before I do this, sign the contract. We're like, no, how about you do what's appropriate and give us what's on the contract before we bloody sign it? So very short, like a few days, probably like 2 days after this, I start to get unwell very quickly. I get unwell to the point where I'm like, I can't come to work. I get like a fever. I'm like, oh, maybe I've got a flu or something. And it just came on really quick. And so Cyril and Tyrone, had to go, they kept going to work and they came back and explained to me, oh, he's really mad. He says you should come to work. But we're telling him, like, what don't you understand? He like literally almost can't get out of bed. So they were sticking up for me and I appreciated that. But I woke up one morning and I felt that my knee was quite sore, quite tender. So I pulled up my pants. Because here's the thing, again, with no hot water, we weren't showering like basically at all. We were using like a cloth because it was freezing. And we were staying rugged up and warm. So I hadn't been paying attention. And because things had been so busy, that I pulled up my pants. And remember how I told you that I went out dancing and clubbing before I left? I had done such a mad knee slide that I had burnt a hole through my pants and burnt the skin on my knee on the dirty dance floor, and all the crap and junk from the dance floor had got into my knee and then it had like healed and scabbed over. And my knee, the veins going to that scab were just like swollen and green, and it was just inflamed. And like when you get a bad infection, and I'm just like, oh boy, okay, I know where I'm sick now. And I'm at home by myself when I'd realized this. The other two guys, I think, were at work still. And I'm like, because I'm starting to get worse and worse very quickly, deteriorating quickly. And I just go, I need to clean that wound. So I, probably in my half delirious state well, I'll go into the shower, go into this freezing shower and just run the cold water on my leg to try and soften up the scab. And I just get a washcloth once it's like, because it's freezing, I'm balancing how wet do I, how much do I soak this thing versus how cold can I get? Because I'm shivering like you wouldn't believe. And I just get a washcloth and I just scrape and scrub the scab until it like rip the scab off the skin and then start to scrub away like the infected skin and let all the blood and pus come out. And oh boy, that's up there. That was painful. That was difficult. And then I had to, because I'm getting so worked up about the pain, my temperature's already so high. I then chuck myself under the shower to lower my body temperature so I don't cook my, it sucked. Anyway, yeah. So I went to bed and very quickly I got better. Very quickly, like within a day or two, I was better. And I said to the guys, because he was like threatening, he was like, if he doesn't come back to work, like I'm not paying him or I'm canceling his non-existent contract. And the other guys with what was going on were like, this is stupid. And Cyril had already been looking into this and he didn't tell us, but he came out one day and he said, look guys, I've found another manager, another entertainment manager in Shanghai that I've contacted, and he's very interested to see us and hire us. Seeing as we haven't made a contract with this idiot, let's go meet him. So we went, okay, cool. Well, let's get on this. So on our day off, which was very shortly after this, I think you told us before the day off because of this, we went straight to Shanghai. We didn't say anything. We just wanted to have this done and get away from this crazy situation. So we didn't say anything. Just on our day off, we went and got a taxi and the train to Shanghai, met this new manager guy. We showed him like one routine and he was happy. He was like, yep, I want to hire you guys. When can you work? We said, as soon as you're ready. He said, okay, next week. We're like, yes. So we went back. And we thought, okay, we'll just keep doing this job with this current crazy manager guy in this situation. And then once the time's ready, we'll just split. We'll just bounce. And our current manager was pushing us, okay, I've updated the contracts. Let's do this. And me, I was like, oh, look, you've misspelt this or you haven't included this. You need to put that. You need to put that. Hot water will always be available, blah, 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 because we needed to buy time. So it was only a few days as well. And then the night came, and because it'd only be a short amount of time, he hadn't paid us either. So we hadn't got any money. And we all agreed, let's take the costumes. He's made these costumes, let's take that. That's our payment. Not the best idea, but also we were very mad. We were pissed. So we were like, we'll take the costumes and then we'll bounce. So we go and do the last bit of work. And we don't try and put this on. We're just like, oh yeah, happy chappy, so he doesn't pick up on it. We do our work for that night. We take the costumes home. We're going to go wash the costumes. We're taking them home because they need to be washed, which they did. We took them, we packed all of our stuff, we got in a cab and we bounced. So we just went to, heading to Shanghai, got on the train to go to Shanghai because the new manager had already sorted us accommodation. My phone rings from the new manager while we're on the train. And he goes, are you on a train? I say, yeah, why? He said, your old manager's contacted me. And he knows about our agreement. And I was like, what, how? Like we didn't say anything. He said he knows what's going on. And I know you're on a train because he told me he's got someone following you. And he's like, look, I'll sort out a hotel for you guys. Just, you probably should get off the train. And I'll call you back once I've done that. So the guys can just tell something's up probably by my facial expression. And I just keep it cool. And this is where like the army training kicks in a bit. A few other things as well. But I just look at the guys and try and compose myself. And I say, look, don't react, don't look around, don't do anything abnormal. Just look at me and react like I'm just telling you, nothing out of the ordinary. And I explained the situation to them. And they were good with it. They locked in as well. I said, what we're going to do is at the next train station, as soon as those doors start to close, jump out straight away. I said, no sooner. I said, as soon as those doors start to close, because otherwise whoever's following us, if they're doing their job, will have enough time to get off as well. So we did, got to the train station. We're just standing there. And luckily we're all fit, dancing performers. And just that beep, 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 and the train, and we just gun it. I say, just follow me. And they do, and we just running through. I have no idea where we are. We have no idea where we are. I just go. I'm looking for signs, for directions, for things, for the flow of people, just cutting and weaving. I find an escalator, because we're in the underground as well, underground subway. Go up an escalator, just cruise through an escalator, looking for taxi signs, running in the outside of the underground terminal, find a cab, just jump in the back. We all just dive in the back, and I just go, 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 to the taxi driver. And he knew what was up. He'd done this before. He had his automatic door closer, closes that on us, and he takes off. Doesn't ask questions, doesn't ask for money. He's just off. He's seen this before, apparently. And we're just in the car, and I'm just like, what is this situation? And then the phone rings again, and it's the manager. He's like, okay, I've booked your accommodation. I won't bring you to our current place. I'll take you to some random hotel so we can sort this out. But he's called me again, and he's making threats, and he's real angry. And I want you guys to understand that I remember this strangely. He said he used to be a part of the Red Army. And I was like, what the hell's that? He's like, he's a part of the underground, the mafia. He didn't say the triad. I remember that. He didn't say the triad, but I put the pieces together, and I was just like, what is this? And he's like, I'll call you back, and I'm trying to sort things out on my end as well. And I remember asking the manager, how does he know about all of this? Like, we didn't say anything. We didn't do anything. And the new manager said, he told me that he had someone following you from at least the time when you had come to Shanghai to meet me. So he knew about this. He had someone following you, I don't know if at least that time. I'm like, what is this? What is this insane behavior? So I just gave the phone to the taxi driver, and I said, tell the taxi driver where this hotel is, because, he only speaks Mandarin. So the taxi driver goes, yeah, and we're on our way. And I'm just like, what is this? What is going on? I'm trying to think about it, and I do not have long. Like less than 10 minutes later, the phone calls again. And the manager's like, his tone is different. And he just straight up goes, I can't hire you guys. I'm sorry, I'm no longer offering the contract and the job for you. And I'm just like, what the? And he's like, he's blackmailing me. The guy, I know this guy, he says. I know him in the industry, and he knows stuff about me, and he's threatening to blackmail me, and I'm sorry, I can't risk that. He said he also knows what hotel I've booked for you. He's tracking you guys by your phones and your SIM cards. He knows the conversations we're having. He knows the hotel. So you're just going to have to go to a different hotel. And he's like, I'm really sorry. That's all I can do. And I just hang up the phone. I'm like, what the? I try not to swear. What is this? So I just say to the guys, SIM cards out. And I think we just got the poppy thing from the taxi driver. He had one. So pop the SIM cards out, pull the battery out, not all of our phones, but one of our phones, pull the battery out, turn them off. And I still at this point, I'm just like, how is this, like, in disbelief? Like, how is this happening? But the manager's telling us stuff that, how does he know this stuff? So I just say to the taxi driver in my limited Mandarin, I don't know how I even communicate, but I said, go to the hotel area. No, different hotel. Wrong. Don't go to that hotel. Righto. So he just takes us to the nearest hotel area. We just don't go to where he's dropped us off. We walk down a bit and go to somewhere else, to a different hotel, just check in there, just go in the room. And I'm just like, we got to go. We got to go home. Like, this is, what do we got? And I remember especially Cyril being quite upset about it. He was like, well, we can't just leave. We got to do our jobs. I'm like, mate, what have we got? Like, look at the situation. We're being tracked by friggin' mafia randoms, and what job do we have? Like this, we're out of our depth. We're in some random country as well. We got to go home. Like, that's our only option. So I'm just like, I'm calling family. So I get on the laptop, call on Skype, the old beep boop, boop boop. So I get a hold of my family because the time zones were a bit more favorable, and I explained to my mum and dad. They weren't. I think they're just used to. Anyway, they were pretty good about it, and they got on to booking me a flight. Tyrone got a hold of his family eventually, but Cyril couldn't. He just would try again, and his mum and dad weren't available. And because remember, we're 21. Well, I'm 21. Sorry, I'm 21 at this point. So this was back in 2012. So I'm still fairly young, and so we just stay at the hotel, just again trying to think of like what to do. And Cyril goes, I'm going to go get some smokes and some food. And like, fair call. We hadn't eaten the situation, so he buggers off. It had probably been 20 minutes or less. And I just can hear this boom, 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 running, like someone running down the hallway. And I don't have much time to like react and even look at the door, and just boom, 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 boom on the door. And I'm like, I'm glad he goes, it's me, let me in. So I open up the door, and I'm just like, as soon as I like kind of realized what's happened, he said, I took my phone, like I went out, I could because I couldn't. I'm just like, far out, you He said what happened is because he couldn't get a hold of his mum and dad. He panicked. He took his phone while he went out to go get food and smokes, put the SIM card in and tried to call them on the phone. He thought, well, if they're not picking up on Skype, maybe they'll pick up the mobile phone. Didn't work. Within the smallest amount of time, like he said, 10 minutes, and he was only gone for 20, and I don't know how far he walked. He said within 10 minutes, they had found the convenience store that he was at. Like they'd come into the convenience store, and he saw them in there, and he's crapped himself. So he's trying to leg it away from there. There were two guys in there, I believe, that were after him. And he said he had to throw a movable shelf, like Hollywood style, had to throw a whole shelf at them to get away from them. And then he runs out the convenience store, but there's a guy sitting in the car, waiting in the car. And then the dude in the car tries to run him over. And I'm just like, this is nuts. This is ridiculous. This is BS. And he said, look, I ran down the alleyways to get away from him. And I tried to, leave I didn't want to lead them directly here. So I ran around a bit, and then I came here. And I'm just like, we're done. I said, grab your passport, grab your phone, don't turn it on, take your SIM out if you haven't already, grab your wallet, we're going. And I remember again, Cyril being like, oh, what about our stuff and our laptop? I'm like, we're going to die or something. Frig your luggage. We're going. We need to go. So we went out of our room. And again, from this, the training just kicked in. I said, you guys need to follow, lock in. So even out of the door, just looking out of the door, no one's there. Okay, now where do we go? Okay, back of the building, because if they're in the car, they're coming up the front of the building. So I go to the back of the building, down the hallway, and go out the fire exit. Open the fire exit. We're on the 3rd or 4th floor. Open the fire exit, and no joke, the fire escape and ladder is gone. It's just a door that leads out to the side of the building. It's like the Matrix or something. I'm just looking in an open space down the side of the building. I'm like, what is this? What is this? What is going on? So we take the the emergency stairwell down to the ground floor, go out the back exit on the ground floor, and then at the back of the freaking building, there's just this huge white cement wall with barbed wire fence. Goes from one end of the back of this place to the other end. I'm like, this is insane. So I say, you guys stay here. Because at this point in my head, I was still like wondering how much of like what Cyril said is like legit. Is he just exaggerating because he felt guilty and he wanted to make the situation sound worse than it was or whatever? So I thought, well, I'm not going to risk it anyway. So I said, you guys stay here. And I, look around the side of the building at the parking lot. I just said, I'm getting on the ground. So I go underneath the cars, and I go from car to car underneath the cars. Because I'm like, if they are somewhere close and they walk down here, no freaking way do I want to see them eye to eye. So I crawl under the cars, go to the last car, which is close enough to the corner of the building, so I can look out from underneath the car in the shadow of the car. And no joke, They are already on the freaking street that we were at. I was like, this. And I'm like locking in, like he's told the truth, like this is legit. So I just stayed there and watched because there was someone in the car, someone standing outside on the road, like looking back and forth kind of thing, watching the road. And then eventually someone came out of a hotel, wasn't out, it was probably like 4 or 5 hotels down, came out of a hotel, and then they walked straight into the next one. And I was like, and I realized what they were doing. I was like, they're going from hotel to hotel asking, are these guests staying here? And I don't know what right they have to do that in China. The same way I don't know what right he had to freaking like track us on. I don't even know how he tracked us on our freaking phones. Like I still don't know to this day what was going on there. Maybe because my only thought was when we got the phones, I think he had to put down his name, like as a Chinese citizen to buy a contract, the SIM cards. So maybe he had rights to access that as a stolen. I don't know how he could access the phone calls. I have no idea. But I realized they were going from hotel to hotel. I'm like, we're done. So we couldn't go out on the road because that's what they're monitoring the road and there's someone in the car. So I go back to them. I said, we got to go over this wall. Like we can't go out there. So Tyrone had this brown leather jacket. I said, you chuck that over the barbed wire because we don't want to get sliced up by that. And he was the tallest, so we helped him up on the wall. Then he helped us up one by one, jumped over the wall. And then over the wall, it's just like this bus graveyard. There's just rows and rows and rows and rows of buses. I'm like, what is this? What is this? So we start making our way through that. And what's in the bus yard, everybody? Freaking German Shepherd. And I'm just like, you must be kidding. And like he caught my eyes as I caught his. And I mean, split second, I told the boys, and it's good that we're all dancers and performers, right? I said, in a V shape, you two behind me, make a V shape, make sure we all look like one thing, put your arms in the air, give us a jacket, holding the jacket in the air so we look like this bigger thing than we are, this bigger presence than we are. And then I get the jacket, I wrap it around my arm because I'm like, if this dog comes, I want it to sink its teeth into this leather jacket, not in my skin and on my arm, not around my neck. So I said, keep facing the dog. And we were yelling at the dog, trying to just like, have a standoff with this freaking German Shepherd. And I said, don't turn away from it. Don't turn away from it. And it had a leash on, but it was like a really long chain leash. And I didn't know if it was attached to anything I couldn't see. So I wasn't risking it. I say, keep facing it, keep facing it. And once we got far enough away that I realized it wasn't coming after us, it was like just standing its ground. I'm like, go, go, go. So we gunned it, just running it through this maze of a freaking bus graveyard thing. Jumped over the first fence we found. And then we're onto like this highway, this main road. And I just hailed the first taxi that I saw. And luckily it was still busy and we were close enough to Shanghai. I just got a cab straight away. Same thing, just jumped in the cab. Go, go, go. Oh my goodness. And I went, what do we do? I said, let's go to the embassies. Let's go to the embassies. That's our best bet. Let's go to our home country embassies. So I'm like, let's go to the American embassy because I think it was closest. And I was like, we have the best bet there. Went to the American embassy. It was open. Cyril went in there and he comes out. We just stayed in the car because anyway. He comes out and he said, look, I can go in there. They'll take me and they'll take Tyrone because he's Canadian, but they won't take you, Marcus, because you're a dirty Australian. And we kind of thought about it for a bit and we're like, we don't want to separate. You know what I mean? We're kind of like, we were together at this point. We're like, we don't want to split up. So we were like, we go to the Canadian embassy, which wasn't too far away. I'm like, crap, we'll try the Canadian one. Went to the Canadian one and it was worse. I'm not sure if they took both of them. I feel like it was just, they were like, oh no, we'll take Tyrone. It's like, well, that's even worse. So I was like, well, let's try the Australian embassy. So we drove to the Australian embassy, which was a bit further away. And it was not even freaking open, or at least from what I could tell. There were no lights on. I was like, oh, this is fantastic. This is great. Go Australia. And I just didn't even go. I was so like this, everything was so ridiculous at this point. I said to the taxi driver, take us to a hotel, closest hotel. So he just takes us to a hotel. I go in there and I said, I need to use your phone, please. I don't know how, I guess their English was good enough or those brain cells were firing. I said, I need to use your phone. Here, you can have some money. Gave them some money. I said, call the police, dial the police number. And they did. And I'm happy that they did. So I'm just on the phone And they pick up, and in the Mandarin, she says, and I'm just like, I need help. I'm an English speaker. I'm in real big trouble. Can you get someone to help me? And they're like, oh, okay. So they put me on hold for a bit, and then they got someone who spoke English, which I'm really grateful they were accommodating like that. And I explained the situation to the police officer, and I said, look, this is the situation. Can you please send 1 or 2 police cars to this hotel? Because there are these guys that are genuinely after us and have tried to run over one of my mates, and we don't know what they're up to. Like they're following us. We expect the worst. And they understood. I hardly asked any questions. They're just like, yep, we can do that. We'll be there in approximately this amount of time. I'm like, cool, thank you. Great, first thing to go our way. So I went back in the cab, told the cab driver to go back towards our hotel, but towards the back. I'm like, we need to basically park and get out where that bus graveyard was, where we jumped the fence, and we'll try find a route that's not through it so we don't have to deal with the German Shepherd again. And we did. We found this tiny little walkway, went through that, and were able to jump a smaller fence over the larger wall to stay behind there because we weren't going to go out onto the main road again. So we're back where we were, behind the wall. I said, same situation, I'll go up the front, followed the same route. And yep, lo and behold, when I got under the car looking around the corner, they were just posted up out the front of our hotel. I went, Eesh. So I just stayed there under the car. I wasn't there for very long. And as soon as I saw the police cars rolling down, I just gunned it. As soon as they came close enough, because I was thinking, I'm getting to the police car but before they do, and I'm just putting myself between, the police between myself and them. Just gunned it towards the police car. And I'm just like, they're the bad guys, them. So the police come out and they're like, okay, they take us all into the hotel lobby. Well, actually just the manager. The other 2 thugs, I guess, stayed outside. And I'm just like, look, this is the situation. This is what's going on. He's crazy. He's trying to do this to us, blah, 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 blah. Basically trying to explain the situation to get some help here. And our manager, I remember him playing it so cool. He was like so slick about it. It annoyed me. It pissed me off, like how cunning he was. He's like, oh, guys, what's the problem? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why you're so upset. You misunderstand. I'm like, you're out of your mind. You tried to run my mate over. Oh, no, that's a misunderstanding. I'm like, you piece of turd. Anyway, and we're back and forth. And he's like, well, what, you work for me. I'm like, we don't work for you at all. We don't have contracts signed with you. And he's like, well, why'd you steal my costumes? Like, because you didn't pay us. He's like, you can't pay. And then I'm thinking, I'm standing here in front of a police officer in a different nation that another guy's accusing me of theft. And I'm like, yo, that's not good. I said, well, you can have your costumes back. We don't want them. We're not staying here anymore. We're going home. Oh, you don't need to go home. You just stay here and work with me. I'm like, no, we're not doing anything. No contracts. We got nothing that we owe you. And then he just points to Cyril and he goes, he signed a contract with me. And I just looked at him, and he just the expression on his face just told me, and I was just like, there's no freaking way. Because my whole stick was that we have no legal binding to this insane manager. We can just go. Like, we've got nothing. Here, take your costumes back. Sure, we got caught. We apologize. We're going back to our country, so you don't want us here anyway. But Cyril signed a legal binding contract with this dude. So I'm just like, I got to do something. So I just busted. I went drama school 101, busted out the tears. I was like, we really just want to go home, please. I remember the look on the manager's face. He was like, what the heck? Because I'd been so staunch this whole time. And I don't know. And then I started to see that the police officers, like, I could see a bit of sympathy in their face. I'm like, yes. So they were just like, hey, calm down, blah, blah, blah. We understand. And the manager finally shut up for once. I kind of shocked him into a bit of silence. And the police officers went outside for a little bit of time. And while we were still inside with the manager, he's like, come on, guys, why don't you work? I'm like, you're out of your mind. You're insane. I'm not falling for this crap. Police officers come back inside. They're like, look, okay, you guys need to give back his property. I'm like, yep, all good. And he said, I haven't seen this contract between you guys. I don't know about that, but we suggest you leave. And I'm like, yep, okay, cool. So I turn around to the guys and I give them a big fat wink, Because I think, I remember the confusion on their face. They're like, what's a wink? So we go back up to the room. We get in the room. I'm like, yes. They're like, what the hell was that? I'm like, come on, guys. You think that after everything you see me do tonight, I'm going to bust and break down in tears? Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I did that to save our ass. Well, like you've signed a contract, you idiot. Why didn't you tell us that? Oh, well, I did it before I'm like, you lie. You just know. Who cares? Let's pack our and go before they change their mind or something. So we get the costumes, give him back the costumes. And even before we leave, he's like, well, come on, guys, why don't you just come work with me? And I think at this point, he's realizing he's lost like his troop that he's probably signed a contract with the club managers. So he's going to get in. He's going to get in trouble. Anyway, I just walk straight into the town. I'm going home. I just get into the police car, and the police drive us to the airport. I think that was one of the more amazing things. They drive us to the airport, and maybe because they understood the situation, they're like, no, we need to take you, make sure you get home. But I just sat in the back of that police car, and I was just like, finally. I was just like, and this all happened in one night, one freaking night. So I got back home, and I'd only been home for like maybe a few days. And no joke, this same manager sent me a message on the hiring platform that originally he hired me on. He goes, oh, come on, you should come work for me again. I'll make you a new contract, make you a better contract. I didn't reply. I'm like, I just thinking, you're a psychopath. I just reported him on the hiring platform. I'm like, this is what happened, and this, that, and the other. You probably shouldn't allow this person to hire people. But one of the craziest things, I think it was about like 2 weeks later, Tyrone, I reach out to Tyrone, and I'm like, how you going? You all good? He's like, oh yeah, this, that, and the other. And he said, Cyril told me he's going back. Like he's gone. And I'm just like, what what is wrong with you? And I didn't stay in contact with those guys because it was a short thing, and I just got on with life. But I still don't know what happened. I still don't know what happened to them or him. I hope he's all good. I hope that maybe the manager was just like, oh yeah, that was crazy, I shouldn't do that. But at the same time, I bet you forgot. Because genuine me, like at the time, not once during this whole event did I happen, and I bet you probably forgot about it too. The freaking dream that my mum had. I just remember one day, it came to my mind. I was like, there's no way. And I'm just like, oh. I'm like, yeah. Anyway, that was, I hope that was interesting for you. Yeah, I just been a bit bored with other entertainment platforms at the moment, so I thought I'd do something creative and tell my own story. Hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, love you. God bless.